One of the easiest things to do under stress is forget some of the simplest, most mundane tasks. And one of them is pretty important right now during any kind of self-quarantine or preparing for any kind of pandemic or just wanting to keep everybody well in your family. Don't go away, because in the next few minutes we're going to break down very simply just the bare bones of what you might need to put together your own personal wipe down list. Don't go away. Thank you for joining us this week, and you might be in a self-quarantine like some folks have already volunteered and put themselves into. If you have, I want to just take a little bit of stress off your shoulders right now, because one of the easy things for us to forget in stressful moments is the routine of the day kind of makes us forget some of the important things, like what needs to be wiped down and kept clean so that the germs and the viruses and such that we are exposed to outside of the home do not make their way inside. Now, I will say this list is just a starting point. It's only about 35 different things that will hopefully get your wheels turning so that you can make your own personal wipe down list for you and your family. I'm going to go through these quickly, but these are all things that are imperative, that need to be wiped down daily, really, especially if you've been outside of the home at all and exposed to other folks that have been exposed to germs. Go ahead and just let this be the starting point for you creating your own customized wipe down list. And then I'm going to encourage you at the end to make a little game out of it almost with your family to see who can remember all of these things and get them done the quickest. All right, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, get yourself some Clorox wipes. If you don't have any, by the way, this is not an endorsement of them necessarily, but if you don't have Clorox wipes, get some antibacterial, antiviral wipes, or some Santa cloths, whatever you make yourself that is with the isopropyl alcohol and a good rag, that's gonna work too. But get yourself your wipe down rag, and then let's get started on our list. We're gonna start right here with the germiest thing I know of first, your cell phone. You touch it more than anything else every single day. Get that cell phone wiped down and completely germ and virus free. Next, if you are a woman and carry a purse, go ahead and wipe down those purse handles, because that might be the very second thing you touch the most. And you men that carry wallets, get that wallet out. I know you touch it often. Get it out and wipe it down on the inside and outside. And once you've got the inside and outside wiped off, you know what I'm going to say next. If you carry cash and use cash often, yep, if you exchange it back and forth with other hands of other people, there's nothing wrong, and it's not considered laundering for you to take a Clorox wipe and go ahead and wipe down the cash that you've just received from someone else. And while you're thinking of that, go ahead and get those credit cards out that you might touch daily. If there's some credit card that's your favorite that you use often, get it wiped down front and back and all the edges so it's germ-free. I'm talking through a few of these everyday carry type items, and one might be your favorite pen or pencil. Get that out and wipe it down from nose to from toes to the top of its head. Get every bit of it very much cleaned and saturate it well. Also, earbuds. A lot of us carry all kinds of different earbuds. Get those cleaned inside and out. And then any other kind of EDC or everyday carry items that you might have in your pocket. Many of us carry a pocket knife or perhaps a Leatherman tool. If you've got a knife, get it out and wipe it down well. Moving away from that type of item, we're going to go out and look at what we've got outside. And we'll start with that garage door opener that so many of you touch every single day for that garage door to come open and shut. Go ahead and wipe it down thoroughly, front and back, and every little orifice of it. And then, oh yes, I'm not skipping over your keys. Those keys are nasty. They can carry more germs than so many things. Those little rubber buttons are just waiting for germs to just kind of hang out right there. So get those keys wiped down, and the fob, every bit of that you want clean. And then let's get to the car door handle. I want you to wipe down that outside car door handle first. Absolutely every bit of it, inside and out on that outer door knob or door handle. Then open the door and you are going to quickly remember you need to get the inside door handle as well. And before you get to the actual part where you close the door, go ahead and wipe down those buttons between the door handle and the part that closes the door itself. Moving on to the steering wheel, which you touch all the time. I want you to get the top and the bottom and in between things, and if you have a special emblem in the middle, get that. Every part of that steering wheel needs cleaned, front and back. And then let's move over to any buttons and any knobs that you have in your vehicle. All of us have similar ones, but different. And I want you to take and get every one of those buttons cleaned off well. The volume buttons, the error buttons, and then depending on what you've got in your vehicle, there's some sort of a gear shift that needs addressed next. Whether it's a stick shift or a gear on the side of your steering wheel or a knob like this, I want you to just get it completely clean because it needs it. Does your vehicle have a touch screen? So many of them do nowadays, and we forget that they are just waiting to have themselves wiped down because they've got all kinds of germs hanging out on those little screens. And then before we leave, we want to get that center console, right there where you lean your elbow, where your forearm that's been touching every kind of thing. You want to get that, and the handle of it, and underneath the handle of it. Every part, go ahead and get that wiped down well. All right, we're ready to move inside. And so the first thing we get to getting out of the car and coming to the door is, of course, the outside doorknob of your home. So get the doorknob wiped down on the top and the bottom and on the back where you don't even see it. Might as well get the deadbolt lock while you're at it. Just wipe down that whole area where your hands touch often. Now the first thing you're going to see, of course, as you come in the house are the light switches that you flip on as you go through the house. If you live with other people, you want to kind of make an inventory and write down which are the light switches throughout the home that everyone touches at least once a day. Go ahead and make them part of your wipe down list of every one of those needs addressed every day. That light switch needs cleaned thoroughly. Okay, let's move on into the kitchen. And of course, one of the first things that so many of us touch all the time, multiple times, is that refrigerator door handle. And might as well get the freezer while we're at it, but wipe down that handle in front of and behind and in all the nooks and crannies of that refrigerator door handle. And then pretty close by is going to be that stove or oven. I want you to wipe down that handle while you're at it. And while you're there at the stove or oven, you've probably got a teapot that you keep on top like I do, or perhaps a coffee pot. You're touching that handle so often, go ahead and wipe the handle of your coffee pots and your teapots down thoroughly so that they are clean every single day. Don't count on the heat that is in them when you heat them up to kill those germs that are on the handles. Next, let's move over to the drawer handles, because you might have knobs or drawer pulls, or perhaps you have those drawers that you just have to grab the edge of. That's why I'm going to encourage you, don't just get the handle itself, but wipe down the edges of your drawers where your fingers touch often, because all that is going to be able to harbor some germs. Before we leave the kitchen, let's get the last and one of the most important things, and that's that faucet, because you know that handle is touched probably 20 or 30 times a day, maybe more than that in your home. Go ahead and wipe down the faucet and the handle of the faucet and any extra things around it that you touch often. This is your time to do it. Okay, we've got the kitchen pretty well covered. I'm going to go ahead and skip to the hallway as though you are walking through your home. In the hallway, you probably have a thermostat that everyone touches at least once a day. And it probably, if it's like mine, may even have those little rubber buttons. And again, those little silicone or rubber buttons just kind of are waiting for your fingers to touch them and leave some germs that they just can hold on to for a good while. So get those wiped down well. And then let's move on into the bathroom, which of course is going to be a very key place in the home that you want to have sterilized as much as possible. So get the doorknob wiped down on the top and the bottom and on the back where you don't even see it. Get those the faucet wiped down just like you did in the kitchen, with every part of it that you might touch cleaned entirely and thoroughly. And then over to the toilet. Oh my, Get that toilet handle completely wiped clean, above and below, and any part that your hand might reach, or any other little hand in the house, maybe behind it or whatnot. Get all of it wiped down. And then while you're at it, if you have a lidded toilet, some of you don't, but if you have a lid and the ring of the toilet that the edges touched often as those are lifted and put down, you want to go ahead and wipe that down, because that's a common place that all of us touch. So get that edge wiped down well. Let's move over and get a new Clorox wipe if you haven't already, but let's get the toothbrush wiped down while we're in here in the bathroom. That toothbrush handle is probably touched at least twice a day in the morning and evening. Get it wiped down well, any part of it that you touch above and below the regular handle grip part. And then move over to the toothpaste, because it's right there with it. Get the lid of the toothpaste wiped down, get all of the body of that toothpaste completely wiped, clean and germ-free. Okay, I haven't touched on everything, but at least know this. If you have children, toys should be on your list. Every one of the toys that they play with on any regular basis should be wiped down well, and every little nook and cranny of them. Also, if you have an upstairs or a downstairs, this is the perfect time for you to make sure that you've wiped down that hand railing all the way up to the attic or upper floors, and all the way down into the garage or basement where you might have hand railing. Okay, going back though into the main part of the house, one of the last things I want to mention is your computer. We often are on our computer or our iPad or our tablets or our laptops, and whichever one it is that you use on a daily basis, make sure you have wiped it down. Start with the keyboard, and it's easiest almost when the computer is off, but wipe down the keyboard and every button that's pushed. Wipe down that little keypad, that touch pad where you move around with your finger. And if you have a screen that's touch screen, go ahead and wipe that down. But especially that mouse is going to definitely need wiped down above and below, and in the little cracks and the little roller ball on top. Get that mouse wiped down well. And I usually like to go back and wipe down the edges of the computer one more time. If you have a laptop, go ahead and wipe down the whole casing all around the back, where you don't really think about, but we really do touch quite often, above and below and every edge. Okay, as you can guess, you know I have not covered all the topics and all the places in everybody's home. But that's at least 35 to get your wheels turning on what you might want to put on your personal customized list. I'm going to put this list down below so that you can download it and you can add all of yours to it. But go ahead and make your custom list now, and then have little drills and say, hey, maybe it's your daughter's turn today to wipe everything down, or your turn, or your husband's. Make it fun for everyone so that it's not a chore and not something that you dread, but actually becomes a fun and extremely useful routine to incorporate, especially if you happen to be in self-quarantine, and especially if there's a virus going around the world right now that could turn into a pandemic. All right, it's been fun being together. I know there is more that we can add to this, and you can definitely add it in the comments down below. But until I see you again, will you take the time to share this video with somebody that you love, that it could encourage or inspire or just help as they're trying to prepare and they're just a little stressed out? This might give them a place to start. Until I see you again though, God bless you. And would you make it a point to go out and intentionally be a blessing to someone else today? Bye for now. Hey, before you go, I would love the privilege of sharing with you just a couple of verses out of the book of Isaiah, which is in the Old Testament of the Holy Bible. This is in chapter 58, and it's verses 6 through 9. It says this, "Is not this the fast that I choose? To loose the bonds of wickedness and to undo the straps of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free and to break every yoke. Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and to bring the homeless poor into your house? When you see the naked, to clothe him and not hide yourself from your own flesh? Then shall your light break forth like the dawn, and your healing will speedily appear. Your righteousness shall go before you, and the glory of the Lord shall be around you and your rear guard. Then you shall call on him, and he will answer you. And when you cry to him, he will say, "Here I am." Isn't that amazing? Now go spread the word.